Hello, Kelly. Thank you for the easy question. I thought Sam was a doozy. And Kelly's like, how about the democracy thing? What you got on that one? Uh, I, a lot of me doesn't know. A lot of me doesn't know. We've bent ourselves into quite a pretzel. And I know that some of what I'm feeling and some of what I shared with Sam applies to this in some way. I believe in voting. I think it is necessary but insufficient for our ability to live together. And the deep project, I think, is that. Democracy is a very abstract, kind of an academic term, and defending it by encouraging people to defend institutions that we don't have faith in anymore is not the most motivating rallying cry. Defend the system of voter suppression, defend the system of no rights for people who have a felony record in so many states, defending the system of Citizens United, or defending the system of big money in politics, even if it's not that particular court decision. Like, we're pretty united in our disgust, even if we have different angles on what we do with that disgust. So maybe there's some common ground. The disgust party, the sick and tired, not going to take it anymore party. And some of the storytelling work that I've been on is in this other project. It's very adjacent to America Outdoors in what we call the how to citizen world. And that is taking citizen as a verb. And we did these 4 seasons of the podcast, and citizen as an immigration noun has some use, but the verb is more inviting to action and participation. And the fact of your parents having, consummated their relationship in a certain zip code or county says nothing about your actual value, participation, and contribution in that place. So let's open up the meaning. There are a lot of people without paperwork who are citizening their butts off. And there are a lot of folks who are not official, who are showing up in ways. And anyone who's passed that immigration exam, which I think Congress should be forced to take, by the way, we need some hurdles, right? We need some job qualifications. You raised money, good for you. You're popular, yay. But do you know some of the core facts about this place? And then we need to update what that test asks of people. The premise of that project gets to yes, voting, and so much else. And if you're not familiar, and I suspect no one is familiar with everything I'm up to because we have a finite amount of time, and Instagram is a real distraction. Citizen as a verb is 4 principles. One of those 4 principles is we commit to the collective, not just the individual self. It can be pretty hard in an individualistic society that rewards the narrative of rugged individualism to encourage that, but it's necessary. We're not separate. One of those principles is to understand power, how it's generated. There's financial, there's physical, there's attention, which you are giving me right now. You're giving me a lot of power right now. I'll try not to abuse it. There's gathering and sharing ideas and recognizing that we all have access to it. It's not a group of people over there who are powerful and a group of people over here who are powerless. That is a story that does not serve the power we all have. It serves to maintain the current configuration of power, which is always temporary because it's a live thing. It's always flowing like energy. The third of 4 things, the citizen, is to show up, participate publicly, assume there's something to do. Our job is more than outsourcing to someone to do the job for us. And the most important in the last is to citizen is to invest in relationships with ourselves, with each other, and with the planet around us. You can see some of the echoes that are showing up even in these little clips that we've shown here. We are able to operate at every level with those principles, at a global UN thing, at a federal, at a hyperlocal, in our households, in our nonprofits, in our businesses, in our intimate relationships. Are we citizening? And there is a tipping point, to get to some of what Sam was talking about. I don't think we're on some linear path, and if we just incrementally do the work, then we'll just steadily get to the progress or to the shift. We're on some weird hybrid exponential logarithmic system. And we don't know what's going to tip us, right? It could be this is the moment. Somebody meets somebody here, and that begets, and there's some ripple effect, and Who knows? What we can do is try to practice and be in that relationship and do that democracy thing as an action, not as an inheritance or a possession or some kind of birthright, as something we renew every day. We do that at every level, we increase the odds of the tip. And in a moment where electoral choices aren't to everyone's liking, exactly, see, they're trying to silence me. That's the system trying to silence me. But it was a gentle silencing. It was like an elevator from the future, from like the holodeck is ready. But when we overly rely on the election system, we are easily disappointed. When we don't recognize the power of the elected system, we leave a lot of options off of the table. So this is a yes and moment. And when one ebbs, another can flow. And what I hope for all of us is that we find ways to find the practice everywhere we are. And as a nature metaphor for this, democracy, the practice of living together, like it requires a culture, not just functional institutions. That's a very cerebral way of thinking about it. Well, if we have the judiciary and the other two, no, we have the judiciary and the executive and the legislative, and they're all functioning well, and then our democracy is great. It's like, well, yeah, but, and also probably all those institutions and the candidates who we love or don't come from somewhere. They come from us, right? They come from a culture. They are literally born out of a soil, like metaphorically grow up in a soil that we establish. School systems, economic models, media environments, households, values or not. And so whatever we don't like about that, we kind of don't like about ourselves to some degree. And if we recognize our role in that, not to the point of like, this is all your fault, but to the point of we can change it. And so if you change the soil, you change what can grow. And that's empowering. Because if I'm just looking at the treetops, I may not like this forest. But if I'm tapped into the soil and the mycelial networks that connect all this life underneath, which science is starting to let us know, then every root has an opportunity to intervene and shape the forest. So let's be rooted in Pittsburgh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.